Beast Uzumaki here, and I want to sit there and talk about the rampant rise of LARPers in the Pokemon fandom. Specifically the games, the cards, the whole thing. Because we literally have true fans getting mixed with fans that want to just see better, more effort for the Pokemon series and Pokemon games put into the games, with people who just want to make a dollar. People who only like the original 150, even though there's 151 Pokemon. So let's talk about it. All right, change the scenery. Yeah, peep the fit. Yeah, you peep the hat made by my sissy. So y'all can't get it. It's too original. I'm sorry. It's just ain't for you. In all seriousness, back to the point at hand. It was a tweet that went viral, video that went viral, of a guy talking about how his original one was the Faber was the first 150. That makes no sense because there's 151. Now I know by technical, Mew technically don't count because there's no, to this day, static way that you can encounter Mew. I really wish there was a static way. I love what what's his name plays Pokemon. Smith plays Pokemon. Sit there and did, to where, spoiler, for his Legacy series, he sat there and said after you caught all 150, you go back to Nugget Bridge and boom, there's Mew. There is a static Mew. I like them. I wish Mew was a static encounter, because you've never truly caught all 151. If you in Red and Blue, you had to glitch him in. In Fire Red and Leaf Green, you had the Fire Red and Leaf Green had a way because it went off the Gen 3 engine, to where there was a static way to encounter Mew in Emerald. So you get the old C map, I think it was the old C map, and you went to go find Mew. You would go to an island where Mew went there. That is the only static encounter in the series, but once again, that was a event type thing. And even when they remade Fire Red and Leaf Green, after you beat the Elite Four, they give you get the opportunity to get both tickets to go get Ho-Oh-Lugia and Deoxys. So still not Mew. So the reason why I sit there, and it's technically technical, because again, Mew is a part of the 150, but it's not something that you can obtain. But the weirdest part for me is in the video in the background, he's showing all these Pokemon cards. He's showing Megas, like Mega Charizard, and I was just like, Mega Charizard is a Gen 6 Pokemon, because Gen 5 is black and white. It was 5 black and white. Gen 6 was X and Y. Honestly, I get them mixed up. I literally get X and Y mixed up with the Alola region, the Sun and Moon games. But no, I remember it was definitely Gen 6. And Trinity was there. So we're also being technically technical by saying that Mew is not part of the first 150, not part of the 151 Pokemon, then Charizard X, Charizard Y is not a part of their original decks, because again, that's something that was introduced later in the series, which this person has already stated he's not a fan of. So I'm kind of just telling, and then people obviously got it. I'm telling them the truth. You're not a real fan. That's like me saying I'm a fan of Miley Cyrus, but I only like her back in her Hannah Montana days. That's like me sitting there saying I'm a fan of Travis Scott, but I only like his only work, but I'm still a fan. No, you're not. You're not a fan of someone now you can sit there and not have to like the whole discography. I love Kendrick Lamar. I don't like every single Kendrick Lamar song, but the point is, I am a general fan who likes his general stuff. So I like it more than I don't like it. Third placement chance. But continue what I was saying is, you can't sit there and say you're a true fan if you literally only like the beginning and shit on every single thing else. Because a lot of the things, like I said, a lot of the things he showed in the video were what he liked. And what even makes it worse is when people are Gen 1ers is what they're called, but this guy is not a Gen 1er. This is a finance crypto bro cosplaying as a Gen 1er. Because Gen 1ers sit there, first of all, know the whole 151. Gen 1ers sit there and they'll also sit there and like more than just, at least from one of the Gen 1ers I met, like more than just their basic Gen. He's talking about he likes Red and Blue. And everyone and their mama know Red and Blue was held together by paper clips and string. Gen 2 is my favorite because, again, that was the gen I was introduced on. But even then, it's not the best. Why is it not the best, you might sit there and ask? Because it was based off of Gen 1. It was, again, held together with paper clips and string. But it was still an improvement on the formula. They did not get that ball rolling straight up until Gen 3. And when you look at Gen 1, Gen 2, and then Gen 3, it's like a night and day difference. Because Gen 3 is when they stepped in the bag, which is funny because Gen 3 is my least favorite generation. Least favorite generation. Why? Because the only reason, because I played the crap out of it. I've done almost every single thing that they can do. Played Ruby, played Sapphire, played Emerald. And I've done every single thing I can do. The better version of it, which is funny, is usually in the remakes. Why? Fire and Leaf Green is the definitive way to play Gen 1. Because it has all the modern day add-ins. And they don't have none of the hacks. Like how if you Hyper Beam an opponent and beat them, you no longer have to take the recharge. Or speed stat. Or crits were based on someone's general speed stat. Base speed stat. So if they had a high speed, you were just dealing out crits left and right. There's also the fact that Gen 1, that sleeping in Gen 1, literally waking up was a whole separate term. There's a whole picture that I'm going to find and tag and put into this post to show all the issues with Gen 1 and how to continue with Gen 2. But the point is, Fire Red was the definitive way because, again, it's just a better Gen 1. The Heart Gold and Soul Silver. I love Gen 2. I love Crystal, the Pokemon Crystal. But Heart Gold and Soul Silver were literally better. Because I didn't realize that in Gen 2, Cerulean Cave was destroyed. I forgot about that. And if you inspect the random tile, you get a Berserk gene that shows Mewtwo was here. Also, the birds aren't there. Hell, Seafoam Islands was taken over by the Elite Four. Excuse me. I want to say Bruno, but I don't remember his name. I do not remember the gym name, so I'm going to pause you right there. Blaine. I don't know why. Take me a second to do that, but Blaine. Blaine took over Seafoam Islands, which probably kicked Articuno out. The power plant went back running, so there's no more rampant electric Pokemon just sitting there at an abandoned power plant. And I feel bad. Moltres genuinely never had a location. It was originally in Victory Road, which is really, really funny if you accidentally stumble upon Moltres on the way to the Elite Four. Because you just sit there and accidentally got your, possibly your very first legendary. Now you're taking this super powerful Pokemon into the Elite Four, about to just dog walk him. I liked him in Victory Road because, again, it was just like the reward that just kept on giving. And then those birds weren't in Gen 2. Heart Gold, Soul Silver sat there, brought everybody back. So it literally bought like the full 250. Still didn't have Mew. But it was just a better way of playing it. And Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, to me, is the best remakes in the whole entire series. Full stop. That was just so amazing. I love every single thing it did. It brought back all legendaries. It brought back some mythicals. Even though it was like based on the times of day, it was such a cool mechanic. The soaring mechanic was great. Megas were everywhere. But that's the sucky part of X and Y. Is X and Y, you see, found Mega Stones and stuff based on the time of day. And if you tried to change the time, it locked you out for 24 hours. And it did the same thing with Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, but that was just for legendaries. But like plus you had to wait till post game to get most Mega Stones. And Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, you just got them bitches when you could have got them bitches. But the point I'm saying, rewinding back, I love the whole series. Yeah, there's certain points in the whole series I wish could have been done better. Absolutely become better. Certain evolutions could have been done better. Like, to me, I still think that Gigantamax and Dynamax should have been swapped. Because Gigantamax sounds like you're gigantically maxing. So that should have been the actual term for the whole thing. Because what happens when you do when you do that mechanic, your Pokemon gets bigger. And then Dynamax sounds like dynamically maxing. So like you're sitting there doing the same thing but dynamically. So like there's a difference because as most fans know, Dynamax is the actual name of the phenomenon. Gigantamax is what happens when specific Pokemon have a X factor or a certain gene in them that sit there, and when they are fully evolved, when a Dynamax, excuse me, sits there and gives them a specific form. If I'm correct, like there's like one first form like Pikachu and Meowth who have regular, and Eevee have regular Dynamax forms. And I think once they get that gene, I gotta fact check myself about that, but I believe once they get that gene, you actually can't evolve them. Check, yep, you absolutely, once they have the Gigantamax factor, you can't evolve them. So, like I said, I just think that it should have been swapped. That is something that is my biggest pet peeve. I absolutely hate it. Another thing is terrestrialization. I hate that terrestrialization. When I first started, I was so mad that y'all had to go back to a Pokemon Center every single time I terrestrialized in order to recharge the orb. Until I later found out that, no, you can just go to one of those wishing wells, one of those raid spots, touch the raid spot, and it recharges your orb. So it's not as, so, and that's what made me happy. I was like, okay, now that's a little bit better. But it should have been like the Mega mechanic, that you can do it once per battle. That's how that thing should have been. So again, there's certain things in Pokemon that I think could have done better. But I am a true blue fan of all 100. Even if you're a fan of some of it, the one thing you don't do is shit on the rest of the series and people who like the rest of the series. Because when people shit on the series, they point to the same thing. They point to Klefki. They point to that one Pokemon that is just literally a feather, like a row of roses and flowers. One sec. They point to Clink Clang. They point to Stunfisk. Meanwhile, in Gen 1, we had a Magnet, a Muck, a Rat, a bigger rat, a bird, a slightly bigger bird, a slightly bigger bird. We had Butter. We had a Caterpillar, a Metapod, and a Chrysalis, and a goddamn butterfly. Then we had the same thing. A poisonous Caterpie, this Caterpillar, another Cocoon, and then a bee. And they full on bee. With Beedrill is one of my favorite Pokemon of all time. Especially since in Pokemon Go, that was my first Mega. But the point is, that guy is a finance bro, crypto bro, LARPing as a Gen 1er. He's making us look bad. All you want to do is make a buck. Which goes into my hatred of what the Pokemon card system has become. Because now, like I said, I used to sit there as a kid, want those Pokemon cards, never had the money for it. And now that I'm an adult, now I'm a full-grown adult, they're way more expensive. So even to the point where kids can't even buy them, because dudes are sitting there and buying it, getting all the rare cards, getting the God packs, and then selling them online, using it as a way as a business thing. And it sucks, which is why I'm glad there are certain stores that are letting them buy only limitations. And they're like, don't you want to make money? It'd be different if this is my own store and you want to come in here and buy out my whole pack. Shit, I'll let you get like 3. Why? So that way I could, again, it's about me making money. It is about making money, but these are just regular people. Kids want to come here and buy this. Kids want to come here and play this. This used to be a fandom for fun, and now you turn it into a business transaction. And that's just not okay for the fandom. It has gone down. I do blame Logan Paul, because he has definitely turned this into something worse. Pokemon is supposed to be something that you have fun on. That's why, like I said, that's why I think the biggest issue with them, which I will go on to a later date, I think the biggest issue with Pokemon fandoms, and again, I'll end it here because I've ranted for almost 15 minutes now. The guy is a clown. Love Pokemon. Love whatever generation you want to love. That guy is a clown, just a LARPer trying to sit here and make a quick buck. And you ain't going to do it because we see that shit a mile away. The biggest issue in the Pokemon fandom is these LARPer business bros. Scalpers in the Pokemon trading card system. Me, nuzlockers, who sit there and make it their whole personality that they played this game in the worst possible way. And because they played this game in the worst possible way, they think that they're better than you. They think they have a better opinion than you. which drives me crazy. But at the end of the day, Pokemon is my favorite game. It was my first game I played when I was 10 years old. Love the game through and through. Love what they're doing. Can't wait for Winning Wave. What Pokemon are you picking? Because I'm picking Pom Pom. See you guys later.